Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jessica Stevenson. I am putting together this video as an intro to share a story that inspired me to pick this topic of ADHD and how reliable the diagnosis is. Every summer, I go to visit my family down south. Especially excited to see my nephew, Marcus. Him and I are a lot alike, very funny, loving, energetic little human being. He's very independent, and Marcus can articulate life a lot better than a lot of adults that I know. So when I see him, I see a very successful entrepreneur, community leader, and life partner. Unfortunately, his experience in elementary school has reflected something different. With his teachers and principals complaining about his behavior and his inability to focus during a standardized test has really put a lot of pressure on Marcus and caused a strain between the school and his family. So his mom ended up taking him to see a child psychologist where he got diagnosed with ADHD, which is now they put him on a plan which gives him leniency in school, but I'm afraid that this leniency is just kind of an excuse that they use for children that cannot fit this box, this narrative um, of what a child should be performing at his age. So uh, Marcus is also a gifted student, which concerns me because he needs to be stimulated. And if he's on this plan where they're already expecting him not to perform as well, how are they supposed to be pushing him to be the best he can be? So, this has been my fascination with ADHD, and my report is based off of some information that I got from this book, The ADHD Explosion, Myths, Medication, Money, and Today's Push for Performance. So, in this book, Dr. Stephen Hinshaw has an assumption that the rise of ADHD could have to do with policy. Back in 1983, there was a government report by the name of A Nation at Risk that pretty much said, in a nutshell, that compared to other countries, our education system sucks. And if we don't get it together, our economy is going to take a huge hit in the future. So this ruffled up the government's feathers, and they started getting more involved and developed a education reform of 1988 where they aimed to improve performance, accountability laws, which would hold the schools accountable if the children weren't performing at a standard level. So, with all that pressure on the schools, mind you, if um, the government didn't feel like you were performing up to par, they would cut your funding. So the schools didn't want that type of problem. So they were like, oh my God, what do we do? What do we do? So you know what? These kids, they can't perform because they have these developmental problems. So because it's that and not us, we shouldn't be held accountable. Not only can't you hold us accountable, but I'm also going to ask for extra funding because it takes a lot to deal with these children and teach them. So, this is his theory. It could have been true. It sounds pretty legit, but you'll see in my report the questions that I asked, the questions that I wish I asked, and future ideas for future research. So, I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope that you guys get a little bit of information that you didn't know before. And I hope everybody is well and safe and healthy. Namaste.